Back now for the next part. As you can see, I've gone ahead and attached the now dry straight section of the tank treads to the vehicle, and something I also did to ensure alignment was add the tires onto two of the wheels at the front and the end. If you want to add the middle wheel, that will probably add to ensure, just be absolutely sure, but it's not really needed. Now, one thing I did notice when I was putting those on, and hopefully you can somewhat see it here, hopefully, is that there's a little lip on the inside of the tires. Now, since these were really meant to be put on before gluing them together, it was something that I didn't notice. So, when it comes down to it, all you need to really do is just sand down the inside to get rid of the lip. But it's just something that's an inconvenience. So anyway, for the next part, we're going to be doing this curve section around the drive sprocket. Now, again, you're going to be taking your Tamiya or other kind of masking tape, and you're basically going to add on to the existing section. Now, you want to pull off a little bit more than you're probably going to need just to be on the safe side. And then, after a little finagling, just tack it on to the end of the exit. There, and just tack it on and build your tread on out. Then once we've done that, we'll just wrap it around. Now I'm gonna go ahead and glue the links on off screen and then come back and show you the wrapping process. Similarly, we'll also do it the same process on the front end, though I'll do that also off camera. So I've gone ahead and got all the links together. Now it's just a matter of pulling it up, hooking it into the drive sprocket teeth, and there we go. Alright. Now all we have to do is just let it dry and make any little tweaks at this stage. This is a little there. Okay. There we go. And yep, that looks good. So now just want to just let this sit and dry for the time being, and then we'll do the forward part of the tread once that's dry, just to be on the safe side, to make sure you don't knock anything out of place. So come back, we'll then discuss how to do the top section. Okay, so we've now got this section dry, and on the last video I actually got a comment from a user named, and I'm probably going to butcher this, Il Armu, who suggested instead of doing it all as one length, first laying it out each track and then adding the glue when you go to form it. So I figured I'd try that and show it, because it sounded like a good technique. Anyway, here we go. Just going to wrap this around. This lined up. Come on, get in there. Okay. think I added in one too many links, so I'm just going to pull out the last link here. Sorry, I'm not adding too much commentary here, as I'm mainly just focusing on getting this in and attached. Appears that that's not wanting to hold. Well, this is a big reason why I didn't want to do large sections of tread all at once. It was precisely because of this reasoning. Okay, now I'm just going to flip this over, make it a little easier to get back in. There we go. And there we go. And okay. And we now have our tread more or less together. So now it's just a matter of letting it dry, and then we can go back in and fix any breaks in the tread. So here we have now the completed track. It's had time to set up, and I fixed some of the little breakages. So now comes the task of getting the tread off. Now we want to do this so as to paint it separately. Now, try to get a couple of these wheels off first, so this make task a little easier. Careful. Now, ones that are probably going to be in most trouble are going to be these two, and then the end ones are going to have to come off separate. Let's pull that off to make the task a little easier. This is why it's good not to glue some of this stuff on right away. Okay, and there we go. That was a lot easier than I thought it would be. And now we have this off, no breakages, and we can go ahead and paint this separately. Now you'll want to do more or less the same thing on the other side, and you also want to put this somewhere safe where you know you won't potentially accidentally whack it, or something might hit it or otherwise damage it. So, we can now begin to move on to some degree. I'll do the other tread off camera to save some time. Now let's, for now at least, just pull these wheels off so as to make handling this a little easier. Almost forgot to clean up, as this particular one, I had to use some sticky tack to get to stay on, as you can see here, it's fairly loose. So that's just something to have as a little heads up. Okay. Now, let me grab the instructions, which I seem to have put elsewhere. Okay. So, with that done, we can now move on and add in a couple incidentals and start building the rack that will hold the fuel tanks. So, one of the downsides of taking a bit of a hiatus on working on this thing is stuff gets moved around. So let's just quickly clip these out. So let's do a little test fitting. Now these parts in particular you could have put on beforehand, at least as far as I can tell there's no real interference with the other parts, or it would not have interfered with working on the treads. Now let's see this other one. Okay, there's a little detailing in here you want to be careful of. At least I'm, to be honest, I'm not 100%. Yeah, that's detailing. Yeah. One thing when working on models, you want to make sure before you do any type of sanding or anything that what you're planning to sand is not something like a poor stub or some other type of imperfection, and is indeed is a perfection, not something that's a bit of detail, as I've done, unfortunately. I hate to admit, but I've done that before. And that's something that always leaves you pissed at yourself for doing. Oops. Sorry, thought my cat was attacking the camera for a second there. Okay, get these cleaned up. Now, one thing I am hoping to do is try and get this full set of tutorial done within the next month or so, as I'd like to get it all done before I return to school again, so there's not a huge gap between videos. Okay, so, and you always want to make sure that you're putting on the right one in the right place. As one thing I am noticing with this kit is that there is some places where they really should have had some either mounting points or some other means of identifying where some stuff goes. Let's get this guy on. Sorry, let me keep this on screen. Instructions. Yeah, looks good. Need to stop that. One thing about animals, they always seem to find a way to come in at the worst possible time. And we're out of time, so I'll finish putting these on and we'll pick up in the next video.